Happy Tuesday. Am I wearing the same thing from last week? Who cares? All right. Well, you'd care if you were my wife because I probably smell like an alley cat. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about Doctor Strange. It is the first movie leading up to Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, and there's a lot of other things that we're going to do. This is the Rewatch series. We were going to, normally we just do one of these, but then we're like, we have this. We have Jurassic Park coming out. Let's just do 2 of them. And we'll put this one out on Tuesday. And this is Doctor Strange. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing No Way Home. We're going to be doing the parts of, I think, and I was going to talk to the guys about this also. I think the other stuff that we should just cover at least is the stuff that happens with Doctor Strange and Endgame and Infinity War and all that stuff, because it all seems to all tie into it. And I think that we're going to do a rewatch of No Way Home also because of, obviously, that leads into the events of what's happening. So, without any further ado, and before we actually get into it, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification button and do all that as we get into the rewatch of Doctor Strange. I think it's 2016, I believe so.
Yep.
Marvel. And here we go. This is the show. What's up, everybody? It's the rewatch of Doctor Strange. It's myself. It's Coy and Winston.
Heyo.
All right, we got a lot to talk about. It's funny, Winston. After we finished recording the The Lost World rewatch, and then you were doing some work, and Coy and I were talking outside, and we started talking a little bit about Doctor Strange. And I'll just start off right away. This movie is so much better on the rewatch.
Yes.
And I liked it the first time. I liked it a lot the first time. But what I was saying to Coy was, you can tell that they knew what they wanted to do with this character and the multiverse and all of that stuff in 2016.
6 years ago.
Because they had so much to remember, though, from 2007 is when it 2008 is when it launched. So it's from 2008 up until 8 years later. They had a lot. They already set up a lot of stuff. So they already were in a position in 2016 that they were in the power seat already.
Yeah.
And they were making movies like Doctor Strange and Ant-Man. They were doing stuff. They were like, all right, so we can write this, because in 2008 you couldn't have wrote this movie like this, because you're like, in 2016 you're writing it saying, okay, clearly we have enough success that we're gonna be able to do the multiverse, and then imagine if we can actually get into the multiverse, start pulling these crazy characters. We just got to make this work, but let's mention it, let's set it up
A few times.
It's set up throughout the entire movie.
I appreciate it. He said it in the sling ring. When he was introduced, he's like, in order for you to traverse the multiverse, you need to master the sling ring. And I was like, wait a minute. How did I not catch that when I watched it the first time? They said the word multiverse.
Well, and Tilda Swinton says it as he's thrown into the chaos of that Hot Topic world. She mentions that a world of multiverse is infinite possibilities, infinite blah, blah, blah. Like, they set up the multiverse so much more than I realized and remembered 6 years ago.
Which is so funny, because you get to Far From Home, and then just because Beck mentions I'm from a different Earth, and you're like, there's more than one dimension.
Right. Yeah.
And we all latched onto that. We're like, is that where we're going next?
Yep.
But
Right. And then Loki went bananas with it, right? So but
we were in disbelief because Quentin Beck's a fraud. But I maintain that the first multiversal character is Jonah Jameson in Far From Home. Like, I still think that's
either way. It's set up in a way that in this movie where it's mentioned by name, obviously, but then there's also the stuff which is a great scene where he's talking to he's looking through the whatever the hell it was, that book. He's going through that book, and they're telling him he comes in. Wong says, you can't mess with this, dude.
Yeah.
You can't.
When he regrows that page in Cagliostro, I think it was.
Yeah, he's like, you can't do this because you're messing with time. You're like just distorting it completely, and then that ultimately leads into what we get into in the multiverse. It's like it's so much better the second time. I wonder if Roxy would like it better the second time. She hates it.
She hated it, really. Yeah. It was a mid movie for me. I was like, it was fine when I saw it, but upon the rewatch, I really like this movie now. And the other thing that's so interesting to me is, I realize now where damn Christopher Nolan got the idea for Tenet. The whole rewinding time backwards. And I don't know if that's Hong Kong or Korea or whatever. Yeah. It's the same thing where all of a sudden people are kind of running and then you get trapped inside a wall. Yeah. So it's the idea of almost the thinking backwards. Right, exactly. So the idea of kind of thinking backwards and moving backwards was literally done 4 years prior to Tenet coming out. Right. And I wonder if Nolan saw this movie and goes, I could make a whole movie about that.
Thing and forward and backward.
Yeah, I mean, it does.
Apple.
It plays.
Yeah,
oh, the
apple
is awesome. But all that and the stuff and the way that they play this, the only scene that I still cannot stand in this movie, and I didn't like it when I saw it, and I don't like it now, is the whole Force Ghost fighting in the hospital. And I still think that Rachel McAdams is underused in this movie.
Oh, she's totally
1,000%.
You don't cast Rachel McAdams for like 2 half scenes.
I mean, she's barely in this movie, and she's even asked to do some silly stuff, like when he shows up after getting stabbed, which I love. He shows up and she's just like, "Wait, what's happening? Oh, your ghost is out of your body? Yeah, sure, I'll help you operate." Like,
and
what?
talks to the ghost,
and she's completely fine.
Yeah, that was after a life of being a doctor.
I sort of buy that a little, only because as for most doctors, like, yes, you're going to be in shock and whatnot. If someone is like dying, they immediately have to like snap out of it and get into like emergency mode. And if you notice, she's kind of like, okay, and then is like performing the surgery while still. So I buy it enough that doctors have to kind of keep their cool because gunshot victims and all sorts of stuff come in like that before. But
I could have used it. We'll talk about this after live.
As soon as it's over, you need to sit your ass down and explain what the hell just happened.
But that's fine though too. But it's like, it's one thing, doctors, to say like, okay, look, I've seen people, their heads split open. I was operating on somebody and their brain fell out of my hand. Like, that is short. Someone's ghost coming out and talking to you.
It's the opposite of science.
It's not the right.
It's literally.
It's like, how is this happening?
And we saw him go through a 7-month arc of accepting it, and she's just like, "Guess I'll have to accept this for the moment." It felt like a little.
It did, but the flip side is this: what I loved about the previous moments that happened afterwards, after he gets fixed up, and after he goes back and he takes the life from the one of the soldiers, right, that he fights. He said he has a great scene when he's talking. He's like, "I made an oath to save lives and not to and not to take one. I just took one." And he's like, "You're just that it wasn't about you.
You became a doctor for yourself.
Right.
Save one life yourself.
Right. It wasn't you feel bad. It was because you came. He's like, and then you complain about it like a wounded dog. It's a great scene. Like that. We were just talking about how the writing in Jurassic, the Lost World, is not great. The writing in this movie is really good and showing and they had to do something when a lot of people still argue this, which. There's a lot of similarities between Strange and Iron Man.
That's what bothered me the first time I watched it.
Yeah,
was how similar their origins are, and that's not Scott Derrickson's fault, but I did feel that watching it.
Yeah, did you feel it in the rewatch?
Less,
right? Because you know the character so well now,
and I've grown to like this take on the character now.
Right,
and for me, this was it's still around the middle of my Marvel experience. I know the expression mid is downplaying, but it is middle for me in my because they've got 32 properties now, and out of 32 properties, something has to land somewhere. For me, some of those similarities do keep it lower. For me, the Caecilius villain doesn't work. He's very
he's boring.
Trite. Yeah, he just kind of he's serviceable.
Dude, we're in the world where Michael Keaton's out here killing it as Vulture.
Right.
That Killmonger comes along.
Yeah.
That like we're starting to set up Thanos.
Thanos
for real,
is coming.
For real.
Yeah.
Caecilius is so forgettable, especially when. And this is what I hate. You tease Dormammu, who is one of the most treacherous villains in Marvel that Strange is constantly having to deal with. And even that is super downplayed of just the time loop and nothing.
Well, remember, they hadn't really gotten the villains down, right? Because what was Black Panther? It was 2017, 2018.
2 years later, they got Killmonger.
My personal opinion is that Loki was probably the best in Avengers, and then after that, they couldn't really knock anybody really down.
They kept doing how do we do the inverse thing?
Right.
Like
Killmonger,
Ironmonger.
It was so funny because I was trying to find. I remember being on Collider talking about this, and I was finally like, okay, that's the best villain, Killmonger.
Yeah. Easy.
And then Thanos came on.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. But
Vulture, I think, is not talked about enough.
Vulture was great too.
Yeah,
Vulture was great too.
Vulture's up there.
And I think that it's just because when he ends, he ends in a different mindset that you almost think he's going to be a good guy, and then it's completely just ruin him in this stupid Morbius movie. But
I still haven't seen it.
The ending is so stupid. The post-credit scene makes no sense.
It undermines a lot of
it. Makes no sense at all. But anyway, this movie, however,
this is just a serviceable villain. Which
and you and I were talking about this outside. I love Mads Mikkelsen, right? So, and I think he was the best part of the new the Dumbledore movie, right? So, And Coy made a great point, is that this character is not really developed. And I think the reason, because I said I liked watching Mads, and I heard myself say it, and I go,
said Mads.
I said, yeah, I think that if it wasn't Mads Mikkelsen, I wouldn't give a crap about this character. But the fact that I do, because he's such a good actor, and the fact that I feel his torment and his pain of how he felt betrayed by, the
writing is great. It's just some of the writing.
I know what you mean. He's not as developed as he could be for us to care, and they rested on the laurels of it being Mads Mikkelsen.
And he had a bit of a mustache twirling problem. Like he had a bit of a I'm a bad guy.
He did. Yeah, he's cutting heads off and stuff. No,
and you never thought that he was doing anything that could be justified.
No, I wish they would have shown a flashback scene when he lost his family.
Right.
Because I think you would have understood more, because they mention it. They mention that his family was kind of slaughtered, and that's why, or whatever happened to his family.
Or any plausible deniability of him killing people for his own zealousy.
Right.
Like they're called zealots for a reason, but I don't feel it.
No, and you can tell that he's naive, and you can tell that he doesn't want to listen to it, because they have that whole scene right before they kind of expose the Ancient One for tapping into the dark dimension. She tells him, she's Dormammu he's lying to you, and he's just like he's like you're full of it. He's not leading me astray. He believes in him 100%.
And that's the whole thing. I would have loved. You can sort of see it in the same way that, like, if you tap into the dark side of the Force, it starts to eat away at your physical form. You sort of see it a little bit with the more he taps into the dark dimension, but you're not seeing repercussions.
Yeah.
No. You're not seeing even like him even talking to Dormammu or something like that, because that's where I feel like there was an improvement of this in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Where you had the idea of like the whispering, but you're like, Dad, I'm trying to tell you. You don't get it. And they're like showing you instead of trying to tell you about why the dark dimension or what's behind the door is bad.
Right. And that's why the villain in Shang-Chi is one of the better ones, because it's a similarly, bad choices, but you care about why he's doing it.
Right.
Because you feel for him, whereas...
Because he thinks it's his wife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like you're invested in his evil choices, because you're like, it's not evil to him.
And that's a great point. And so using Shang-Chi as the example, and in that film, you actually, they go back and they show it to you.
Right.
So they show you the tragedy. They show you how he's earned in you. He was this despicable person that fell in love and went on the right path, and then felt tragedy, and that's why he was doing what he did. And ultimately, when he can't at his come up, it's at the end of that movie. I'm just spoiling all of Shang-Chi for people who haven't seen it. But when you go there, I know. And if you're watching this, you should probably have been caught up on Shang-Chi. But either way, the point is that you're exactly right. You've been through enough of that character in 2 hours that by the time you get there, you're like, okay, I feel empathy. I understand that he probably should have gotten what was coming to him.
Yeah.
And even the relationship with Shang-Chi makes you care about him more, because everything Shang-Chi does, you feel twice over.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't care about Caecilius and Doctor Strange's relationship because they don't have one. And I barely care about his relationship with the Ancient One because they don't bring it up until it's like too late. We're already like, this guy.
Well, I think Chiwetel Ejiofor, though.
Oh, he's great.
And he's another one, because it's him. He brings so much. But I actually think his character is more developed than Matt.
And he's a big villain. Like he'll be the. I mean, I think he
is he come up in Doctor Strange? Is he come in Multiverse? Is he going to be Multiverse?
Yeah. He's got awesome dreads.
Okay. So he's been in he's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay. So because I was going to say, because I felt like they had it kind of, because at the end of this, he
definitely set up as a villain.
Yeah,
he's the post-credit scene.
Yeah. He's like, I'm out.
It's funny because I was trying to think what other villain in the MCU is like this, because Caecilius might actually be my weakest villain. Because like even with
Yellow Jacket.
That's up there, but the funny thing is though, because that's where I started. I was like, is Darren Cross the first crappy one in that regard? But there's enough of like, hey, he's worked super hard. He felt like he deserves the
and
throne.
Corey Stoll's great.
So
yeah, I didn't mind Corey Stoll in the movie.
Right? But with Caecilius, the one.
I would say Justin. Iron Man 2. Anybody in Iron Man 2?
Whiplash.
I like Justin Hammer,
but even Whiplash, even though it's underdeveloped, I still have an emotional connection enough of like his dad got cheated out by the Starks, and so he's like,
but where is
I got it for you guys, and then we can move on because you're all going to agree. Okay. Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, the
elf. That guy did not have anything to do.
You forgot all about
it. I was going to say
him.
Ronan. But
Ronan's pretty bad too.
But Ronan, I will give you.
He has a good dance scene at least.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Chris Eccleston. I think even he agrees.
Yeah,
I think we all are.
There's nothing there.
It's not.
But anyway, this movie though, going back and then seeing the
visuals, man.
There's something about it though, man. Like this, out of all the rewatches that we've done, we have all been through. At least one of us, if not on the same page, or one of us on different movies, have been like, you know what? On the rewatch, this movie is is better. We've been with Spider-Man.
4 spots for me in my MCU.
This movie is
4.
by far, to me, the most improved out of any movie we've rewatched.
Yeah.
The most improved because of the pure definition of why if you have a plan, your content is going to thrive.
It's the best retroactive Marvel film, I think.
It proves their plan.
Yes.
It proves that they had an idea of what they wanted to do.
A lot of people argue that with Age of Ultron, but Age of Ultron still isn't great, whereas it is better, but it's not great.
Actually,
it's better.
So
better.
It's funny that we're doing this rewatch as I'm doing a whole other rewatch. So my girlfriend she'd seen an MCU movie here and there, but she'd never watched it.
Yeah.
And so we're on year 2.5, almost 3 of us getting through this because she enjoys them, but she's like, I would never just sit down and turn one of these on. It's not for her in that regard.
It's my wife. Yeah.
We just watched Age of Ultron. I actually really enjoyed it. I did not like it at first, and every time I watch it, I find something else. I
liked it better. I recently watched. We didn't do a full Marvel rewatch, but we did a lot of them during the last year and a half. My wife and I watched a bunch, and Ultron was one of those movies, and I feel the same way. I think that I got better, but this movie, I still think for Ultron is still there's a lot wrong with it. Right?
Whereas this was always a good.
I always liked this movie. I just like it so much better now, and I think it's because at the time when I saw it, I mean, I've seen it more than once, but at the time when I saw it in the theater in 2016. I was aware. Basically, I was most aware of Doctor Strange because of Matt Kay.
Right.
But I remembered him from comics and things too. But I was curious. I didn't know enough about it.
Yeah.
And then because originally it was Joaquin Phoenix, and then goes into be Benedict Cumberbatch, and it is. And so I remember watching and having that same reaction you did, Coy, of okay, it's similar to a kind of Tony Stark, but then. Because we've now spent 6 years with the character in various movies, I know he's significantly different than Tony Stark. So I didn't have that thought really at all.
Same.
Because he doesn't go in, because you know where he ends up.
Yeah.
And it's very similar, again, to what I always talk about, like Force Awakens. When I watch that movie now, I still think it's a good movie, but because of it, I know where the things go and the stories go afterwards, it's less enjoyable for me when I watch.
So it's the opposite. It's sullied this
exactly the opposite, because I think of the things now, because when they mention the multiverse, I go, oh, this and the time stuff that plays into the Thanos stuff. And this, now that we know, it's like watching a TV show that you've seen, and then going back and rewatching it. But going back and rewatching that TV show, going, oh, that's how that all plays.
Season 1 of Breaking Bad's a different show now. Knowing where Heisenberg goes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm curious though, because I will say, since you mentioned What If for half a second, that's the only thing that's kind of off for me. I get it's supposed to be the whole infinite possibility, so maybe that Strange just really loved Christine more, because I don't get the vibe in this. He cares about her, but he doesn't really love her.
That's what we're saying. I think they're gonna bring her back and do a little bit more with her.
It's interesting to see how that works, though, because there's no point in the movie where I go, he's made a turn, and now all of a sudden he appreciates.
No, he basically just says to her, "I'm sorry, I was an asshole." That's all he says to her. Yeah, that's it. You don't feel like they're like you feel Pepper Potts and Tony Stark. You understand that, and they had more movies to build off of that, obviously, than just one. But yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think that.
But even MJ and Peter had more chemistry,
right? Because I think it's gonna be explained. I think it's gonna be explained more in this one.
Holy crap! You want to talk about not only a masterclass in acting, but specifically just painting. You painted Strange a way that it makes it hard to root for him, but once he eventually comes around, you get it. His conversation in the apartment when he's at his lowest with Christine, where he's cussing her out essentially because he's just like, I've lost everything. Like, I'm like, bro, I do not remember him being this abusive.
He was sarcastic. But you can tell how much anger and pain is there, to where she's just like, she looks and she's like, and what I loved about that scene. I'm glad you brought that scene up, because I thought this while I was watching it. Her reaction could have been one of stereotypical, just kind of like crying, screaming, leaving. She just was like, she was the cool one in it, and
she knows that he's broken.
She stopped and she went, okay, well, I'm gonna go now. And then it even comes back full circle when he comes back, and he's like, I've written you a bunch of emails, you didn't respond. She's like, did you expect me to?
Yeah.
Right.
No. Like, it was a strong choice instead of the weak choice.
Yeah.
Just storming out of the room is the weak choice. Leaving of your own accord, and then not. Like, that's
and the way she responded to it. And it's like, why would you? It's like, look, I came over to help you, you asshole.
Yeah.
And move on and do. And look, this is not, you're not going to be able to do what you want to do.
That is a great move of the actress, the director, and the writer to see that and go, because we've all been in that moment where someone is having that lash out and you're just like, you know what? You lost everything, so whatever.
Yeah.
I am clearly in a better position here, so I'm not going to berate you. You got it out. Peace.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I thought that was a brilliant
It was a real
choice
scene.
of all three.
It was real. It was real. And I thought
especially in a movie with so much stimuli, it's good to have those real scenes to ground it.
But that's why it bums me out in the few negatives that we have about this movie is that it really puts the spot, when you look at that scene, it puts the spotlight on the fact that Rachel McAdams is underused.
yes,
Like,
because her other 3 scenes are like...
but and to be fair though, there's really not much that you could do with her at the moment to tell, because I like the story that they tell.
Right.
I like the idea. Coy, get your head back in there. I can't see you. Here you go. But like I kept moving the camera, but I was like, if he keeps moving around, there's nothing I can do. But I like where they went with it. I like the fact that he goes and he doesn't believe, and he's just kind of just doubting Thomas. The guy goes in it and he makes his way to. Did someone just rip one?
No, I just really, my seat.
It really sounded like someone. It sounded like someone tore one out,
and I was like, "Let me see if I can recreate it."
Said, look,
there it is.
I was like, look, if someone did it in the middle of that, then good on you. But I'm not being able to hold it in because it sounded like someone just tore it out.
That sound just hit Kristian like the ancient one knocked his spirit out of his body.
Like,
Because Kristian went from, and that's what I realized that watching this other, that oh my god, did someone just rip one?
You told me your pal.
It was.
Oh man,
yeah, it sounded like someone tore it out.
I'm so glad I could recreate it. So I was like, this the whole time,
it's. Yeah,
Jesus.
These are great cushions.
Was that?
Yeah.
Wow, that did sound like you just had a lot of White Castle. That's when I just. It's this one. It's this one. Anyway, but going that whole scene there, he goes there, he's kind of doubting Thomas, and he goes and he wants to be in there so bad, but it's the selfishness that's driving there. He needs to figure out how to fix his hands. That's all he cares about. That's all he wants in an ancient one, bringing him in, all those moments and showing him the dimensions. And that scene worked for me so much well too, because now again, just reiterating exactly what we just said. When you go into that No Way Home scene, when Spider-Man and Doctor Strange are running through the Mirrorverse and they're having this whole battle, that becomes more in heightened now when you get the introduction of how it works and how the Mirrorverse works and all of that. And then, so that's why it's hard for me to say, I wish they would have used Rachel McAdams more, because I don't know where you would have used her more. I just think the fact that you cast such a great actress in that role.
Hopefully it's for the long game.
I hope it's for the long game, yeah.
It has to be, and I think we get a teasing of that with the trailer for Multiverse of Madness, because there's her
in a wedding dress.
In a wedding dress. So clearly this Strange not putting up the real love for Christine like he's supposed to. She's marrying somebody else, it feels like. But it was very, very interesting to see that, again, with that asshole element, I now also understand where an evil Doctor Strange can come from.
Sure, and the zombie one too.
Exactly. And so not even necessarily, like, obviously What If did a good enough job of painting that picture.
Right.
But if we're going back to, again, how Doctor Strange started, we see the darkness in this man's soul. And how he could very easily be what Mordo is about to be, what Caecilius became, what the Ancient One, even though she tapped into the dark dimension, didn't fully go there,
right?
And so just knowing that this man could at any point go full Vader, and I love that, you know.
Yeah, no, it was. There's a lot of those moments. It makes me think though, because of the What If and because of the multiverse. Coy, how much of What If do you think is going to play into the sequel?
A lot.
Yeah.
I honestly think that those 3 Doctor Strange-centric episodes are going to be the 3 Stranges we encounter. Like, I definitely think we're getting...
3? There was
the zombie one?
Zombie. The Prime is new to the movie, but they referenced a universe that I think they're going to pull from that from. The ponytailed Doctor Strange, I don't know if you guys have seen that, maybe the previews.
I haven't seen
It's a Doctor Strange from the Defenders comics. I think that they're pulling it from that is as arrogant, but he's a good guy. So that's not from What If, but there's a universe that I think they're pulling from.
I remember, but I was trying to remember the zombies. Strange is like heavy in that one?
No, I just think that they're going to go like that storyline is from this. Like I think they're just going to be like the zombie universe is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think anytime he pops up, that's going to get used. I think What If is going to be very canon.
So we'll jump back into the first one in a second, because I do want to get into something that we did a lot of when we were doing the Spider-Man rewatches. Who do we think? Coy, I love you.
I
to
don't
death.
know where
to. Hold on. Here. Let's do this.
Let me lean in.
I'm gonna do this.
You follow me. I'll stay right here.
I'm gonna put you. This is your. There you go.
Okay, that's my. Okay,
there you go.
This is my box.
You also have a monitor directly
right in front of you.
That's how I know that Coy is actually not as narcissistic as I am. Because multiple times an episode.
No, you're never gonna see Winston in a frame. Meanwhile, Coy.
Fam, y'all, when I'm looking right here, I am looking at myself. That is me that I'm.
That's why I set that monitor over there. It is, and I wish you guys could see it. It is.
Good.
You know what? I'm even gonna. This showing that I'm learning this tech better than I.
BTS.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. Watch this. Hold on. I'm going to show you guys exactly right now. I'm going to show you exactly
in real time
exactly where it is. And so it's like well why can't he see himself? Maybe he can't. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know that he's not on the camera.
It's funny because I'm so focused on making sure this Winston dick isn't on my face that I don't actually look at the camera. So I can only do so many things at once. I take my notes.
Yeah. All right. So here we go, guys. I'm going to show you guys. Here's Coy. It's right in front of you.
It's literally blocking.
It's right there.
I love that we took that photo on camera and then immediately
it's like well maybe he can't see it.
It's literally like I'm sitting in the front row of the movie theater.
There's something else.
Anyone that gets mad at
did you just close the whole stream?
No, I didn't close the whole stream. But I don't know what I got rid of.
Mayday. Okay, good. We're back.
I got rid of something.
Anyone that gets mad at me for reading the comments because I'm a narcissist, know that I'm not looking directly at myself this entire stream.
Hilarious. Anyway, so what I was going to ask you is, so let's go through who we think is going to show up in. Well, we know that Chiwetel Ejiofor is going to show up because he's in the trailer apparently. Okay, same thing with Rachel McAdams. Okay, do we think because it's multiverse? Do we think Mads Mikkelsen comes back?
I don't think the actor Mads Mikkelsen wants to come back.
All right, Dormammu.
I think Dormammu is an overwhelming presence, and maybe we get a sequence, but I don't think it's a major.
But he's back.
He's back.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I mean. So I'm trying to think everybody inside of the movie itself.
I think Tilda Swinton.
Oh yeah, Tilda Swinton
makes an appearance.
Okay,
I think there's some wisdom, maybe a flashback.
All right, Robert Downey Jr.
No.
Okay, Tom Cruise.
They've edited so much, and I've heard so many back and forth things. I want it enough. I'm going to go yes out of one.
I agree. I think he's going to show up. Krasinski also.
I think Krasinski shows up as an alternate Reed.
Yeah.
As a fan.
So you don't think it's going to be their R Reed? You think that they're just doing it to give them a nod and then move on?
Yes,
I think that John Krasinski really wanted to play Reed for a really long time and now got sick of it. So this is how to.
I agree. This is they're going to have a very different version of him when he casts him, but he plays it in some other version.
I also
Tobey Maguire.
I think they filmed something after No Way Home. Yeah. So, I think it was too big.
So there was a thing that popped in. This could be. It was funny because I saw some video post about it that said that it's guaranteed he's in it because they showed Joe's Pizza. Joe's Pizza is on every other corner in New York.
Yeah, it exists. Also, Sam Raimi directed this. It could just be for Sam. Like Sam might like.
Sam loves Joe's Pizza. Yeah, so that could be it. However, it is Sam Raimi, but and because it's Joe's, the guy might not be wrong. Right. That because it is Joe's Pizza and Sam Raimi wants to do it, then maybe you get a scene with Sam Raimi re-teaming with Tobey. So that would be pretty fantastic.
Because there's like that ad, the like Verizon ad or something that's Doctor Strange and Joe's Pizza.
So that's why I'm not just going to poo-poo it. I think it's still but just because they show Joe's Pizza in New York doesn't mean guarantee because it's like every other corner there's a Joe's.
There's a Joe's Pizza out here.
Yeah, there's a couple of various ones.
Getting away from Strange, but still playing the game of who do you think is going to be in it, I'm actually more curious about the people directing surrounding Wanda. So I think that you're actually going to get Vision and the kids again.
Oh, yeah, I think so too.
I think that both of them are going to show up. I'm curious if it's going to be her Vision or White Vision.
She's going to be the villain, right? She's going to turn out to be the villain.
I think Nightmare's going to be the big bad.
Who?
I think Nightmare. So Nightmare's a character that feeds off of fear in your dreams.
Okay.
So he's an otherworldly, other dimensional character, but it manifests as almost the Sandman, but evil. So I think that that might be manipulating things.
So you don't think they're going to make? I think
Wanda's going to be.
I want to see her go full heel. I want to see it. I want to see it. I think that it's like let's turn what we've done the death thing. We've done our heroes go away. Let's go full. Evil. Because they got to turn Killmonger good, right? That's what's going to happen.
Supposedly, that's the rumor.
We'll see. You think that's get pushed? By the way, you think November?
There's no chance it comes out this year.
There's no way it comes out.
I don't think it comes out.
They just moved Spider-Verse. There's no way Black Panther.
I don't think it comes out because you had too much breakdown in production.
Yeah.
Where
And they don't even know what it is.
From both injury
They said
and
they wrapped.
COVID.
Really?
Yeah, they claim.
Poor
But also-
Ryan Coogler.
I can't even imagine.
Poor Ryan Coogler.
Made one of the best movies of all time, and then
Yeah, I mean, obviously the tragedy.
Scared.
Yeah.
I am really scared to see what happens because I don't want Coogler or Wakanda, anything involved in it, to get tarnished. And I'm very scared because of all these ups and downs.
Yeah.
You already have a lot to live up to.
I know.
I think it's the highest stakes sequel.
It's
Yeah, for sure.
Because
For
because of so many different reasons. Because you've got to, whoever you're going to give the ball to, you got to probably give them the ball. Because if it works, you got to do a third one.
Right.
Right. And then is it Winston Duke? Is that
Yeah. M'Baku.
is he? So I know that they were going to lead with the sister, and then
Yeah.
that she turned out to not. To just be, I
made
guess,
some
made
anti-science choices.
She made a lot of choices that didn't work out too well. But then Winston Duke, I also heard, was.
I know his role got upgraded substantially.
Right.
But I don't know what that looks like with optics because Shuri would be the obvious choice.
Right.
And I think that I don't know if they could redo the entire script. Like I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm
that
just-
movie
yeah,
is
that-
the most.
I can't-
It's the tragedy of the loss.
Yes.
It is the biggest sequel because the first one is so impactful and important. It's also a movie that kind of like I don't want to demean the other Marvel movies, but it's kind of the one that like means the most in real life. Like it you know what I mean? Like in our plane, it's the most important. So like I don't know what they can do.
It's also one of the. I get it. It was for costumes and whatnot, but it's one of the only MCU Oscar winners. I think it is the only Oscar winner. And it is the only one that's been nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
And it is until No Way Home, I believe, was also the highest grossing solo film.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So-
it's right. It's just a question of how you do it, because of all the things. But anyway,
I mean, I'd introduce maybe the idea of another Black Panther in Doctor Strange to set up the idea of multiversal Doctor
that's
Strange.
where we're
That's
gonna
where I was
that's where I was
kinda
gonna go with in a second. But before
Wesley
we
Snipes.
get there, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to tell you guys about Coinbase. And so if you didn't know about Coinbase, ladies and gentlemen, Coinbase, if you're very curious about cryptocurrency, then oh my gosh, I have to go back to this. I'm sorry, I got to go back to this. I completely forgot about something else. I'm so sorry. We'll get back to it. I'll have to redo that one. But before we do that, I wanted to talk to you guys also. Coy, you had mentioned about the multiverse with introducing Black Panther. Do you know if Ryan Coogler was there any rumors of him working with Raimi at all?
So I know there's like this brain trust at Marvel where they basically have the opportunity to have everyone consult with each other. Like I know James Gunn helps out a lot in the cosmic stuff and all those things. So I know Ryan Coogler is now part of that brain trust. I just don't know if that confirms or not Wakandan influence.
Right.
And the reason I say Wesley Snipes is because that's why Blade exists, is because he wanted to play Black Panther, but they were like, that's an obscure character, and they gave him Blade. So it'd be kind of cool to have him, it'd be like, oh, Blade, no, it's not. You know what I mean?
I get that, but if you're trying to potentially introduce who's going to really take up the mantle in this universe that we're in.
Oh, I say don't introduce him in this one. I'm saying introduce the idea of a new Black Panther. That way you see the multiversal impact of, you know what I mean?
If you wanted to, you were talking about the Illuminati.
Yeah, have a different one there.
So if you want an Illuminati Snipes in there, then
that's what I mean. And that way you have him next to the other Reed, and then maybe they all get taken out.
Right.
And that way you're like, oh my God, all these heroes just died. And then you realize it was a multiversal set that we were never going to invest in anyway. But that way you have cool cameos, introduction, trauma, impact. You get the stakes raised, but you also get the opportunity to have the Black Panther wound. You address it. You acknowledge that there might be another Black Panther.
Yeah,
one day.
I just wonder if at all, if Ryan Coogler's going to, if he did anything for sure, like, and how, because it's just a tricky circumstance all the way around how they're going to play it, because it also comes down to how much they're going to involve Wakanda now in the story and all that.
It's supposed to be a TV show.
I'm just so curious now of how so Mike Kalinowski brought this up. Do you think that this is the end of the multiverse? As far as them,
you think they're going to introduce it just to kill it?
I think no.
I think no.
I don't think
He wants that to happen. He doesn't like the multiverse. He's over it. But for me,
that's such a limited.
I just think
worldview.
I just want to see.
Comic guy, I'm confused. But okay.
I think it's because he just doesn't want to rely on everything. Like there's no stakes. I understand his points when it comes to there's no stakes in the multiverse because you can always bring something. Like look at Gamora.
Right.
Sure.
It's like she died. It's like, yeah, but she's still around, even though it's a different version.
But the conflict is Star-Lord not having the one he loves.
Totally.
So it's still good.
He's got to fall. He's got to fall in love with her all over again.
He's got a 51st date, sir.
You don't have to explain it to me. I'm on board with it. I'm just going to his point of view.
I can answer that, and that they will get there, but no, they're not going to kibosh what is essentially one of their biggest things that they've set up, as we've said since 2016. What they will probably do, and Coy, you can back me up on this, when you start getting into Secret Wars, when you start getting into all that stuff where you end up with all the universes collapsing and then one finally coming together, we will get there. But if I had to guess, that's probably end of Phase 5.
Yeah, I imagine this brings in the X-Men, this brings in the Fantastic Four. This allows for so many opportunities. I don't think you close the door on this kind of storytelling. So
2
what you
hours.
Do is
You got 2 hours to
and
do
6
it.
minutes, there's no way.
You got 2 hours and 6 minutes.
And without credits, that's like an hour 58.
Well, how long? This movie was like, and the first one's like 2:15.
Yeah,
something like
shorter than
it's
the
short.
first one.
It's short. Let me see. I'm going to ask. Let's see. Let me ask. Hold on. Hey Siri, how long is the first Doctor Strange?
That's an interesting question.
I found the runtime of Doctor Strange is 1 hour and 55 minutes.
1 hour, almost not even 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's not even 2 hours. So actually, this movie's longer.
But like, it's got so much more to do. I mean,
I know it does. I mean, depending on how much. I mean, it could there could be a lot. You don't think it has a lot to do?
It does have a lot to do, but more than the OG. No, because you got to set up everything up. You remember there was no mysticism yet, so you had to set up all of mysticism. You had to set up, what that whole world was. Doctor Strange's origin, set up Dormammu, which you don't really, but you kind of do.
Yeah.
And let alone, you mentioned the multiverse. You mentioned all these things that are about to be key elements. This feels...
Set up Mordo.
This feels like Winter Soldier. You're not having to necessarily set up as much, because remember, we've already got it through time travel. We've already got it through No Way Home.
We've already got it
so
through
you're gonna get an expansion.
You understand the rules already.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain the rules. You just have to expand on it. And that's where I think the shows are going to be so clutch.
Yeah.
Right.
You really need to know what Wanda's going through. Bitch, we gave you a whole show for that.
And
So
honestly, that's
you-
like the comics. Like, you need to keep it up on your weekly books if you want to
Right.
get the events. And I've been saying from the beginning, you want the shows to be the weekly titles, and you want the movies to be your big annuals and your big events. And I think that Marvel, with their billions, with like a B, they know people are going. So you don't need to tell a whole story. You could tell that second act, which we'll see if that sells.
Here's my question when it comes to that.
Spoiler alert.
Right, because he learns how to do all this stuff in this movie, because you can see from even when he puts the cape on and he becomes, and you can see that version. Like, that's a pretty great moment.
Yeah,
like when the cape chooses him, and they even say as much, and he just kind of just accepts it, which I liked. And then when he shows up and the music kind of swells when he comes up and you see it, it's like, oh, that was for the Doctor Strange, like, hardcore. Like, Matt Key probably lost his mind when it happened. And so I like when they did that. I like how you see, like, just knowing, once again, just saying the same thing we did before, seeing how he's going to become that version that we know from Endgame and all this stuff. My question is, in No Way Home, he is part of the spell where he forgets about that Peter Parker is, but he knows Spider-Man, I guess, right? So this is where, are they gonna dive into that at all? Like, because he's obviously aware that he messed with the multiverse, but does he know why he messed with the multiverse?
I think that was a fracturing, but not the actual big event. I think there's going to be an event that happens.
You think he does it again?
Yeah, I think he does something else.
So you don't think it's?
I think he does something to save Rachel McAdams.
Again, so off of what if type thing.
Yeah,
I think that you're right, but I think that's the straw that broke the camel's back.
I think that was another. I think No Way Home was another straw. Yeah. This is the newest straw.
This is the straw that breaks the back.
Exactly.
Because if you think about it, we have so many things affecting it right now. So you have Wanda and everything that she did in because they keep bringing it up. Why is it that when you mess with it,
TDA,
Loki, that was going to be the next one. Yeah. The fact that you killed it, the snap, I think, is in there for sure. But you also have the argument that it was kind of undone. But all that cosmic energy at least had something to do with it. So between No Way Home, WandaVision, and Loki, this is just the
Eternals.
They stopped a celestial being from birthing out of the planet.
The Eternals and
would that stop the multiverse though?
I just think it's a big cosmic level.
Sure.
I just think energetically.
Okay. Does Moon Knight have anything to do with this?
No, I think Moon Knight is very, very smart in staying removed.
I think Moon Knight, to me, the most attached to any product, it feels like a project at all, is Eternals.
I think that's the closest.
That's the closest.
But I do think that Moon Knight is especially with Oscar Isaac's contract, not touching this stuff on purpose.
Okay. What's his contract?
He's not. This is it.
This is the only thing. So he doesn't want to be tied into the.
He doesn't want to be tied. He's willing, but he wants to get to choose his scripts because of Apocalypse, because of Star Wars, because of look at what they did to him.
Good for
he
him.
literally got to play. He only signed up for 6 episodes,
and he produced it also.
But he's not attached to any other movies, any other shows. This is all he has to do.
So that's why they're not tying it in as much.
Yeah, just in case. And that's also Moon Knight, the comic character. This is the first time they've done that since the OG Phase 1.
Yeah.
So what's cool is now he gets to negotiate for the quality of the writing. Now he gets to negotiate for what properties he wants to be involved with. And tonally, it'll be more like, oh, Moon Knight's here, which is how the comics feel. Like when Moon Knight shows up, that's like shit got real.
The funny thing is, I know that they love to compare Moon Knight to Batman, but I always compare him to the Question.
Yeah, he's way more the Question.
It's like you're on the edge of breaking.
Yeah. Right.
And you are so weird.
Yeah.
But you're coming in whooping ass.
Yeah.
So it's like,
we need you. We don't know why.
Yeah, well, that's the last episode. Well, I'm telling you, man, it sounds like you just went to Taco Bell and said, I can't hold it in.
Audience, I made eye contact that time.
I really hope. It was so.
I was looking Coy in his soul when he moved that chair.
I gotta try to bring up. You know what I realized I can do
need to
actually.
mic the chair.
No,
We need to mic the
I'm
chair.
gonna see if we actually have that.
We have the isolated audio?
I think so. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Let me see.
That was actually the straw that broke the multiverse of Camel's
that's how
back
it was right there.
You
That
just
was
ripped
that
a hole into the multiverse, bro.
Hold on. Let me see if I can.
Yo, Mexican Pizza's back next month.
I heard.
Happy
So
Tuesday. Am I wearing the same thing from? Oh, I can't. Happy Tuesday. Oh, I can't do it. Happy Tuesday. Darn it. Oh well. Oh well.
Mexican Pizza next month.
Next time.
I'll make sure it's real.
Yeah, it's true. Something else I had. All right, anyway, let me get back to, as I was telling you guys before, sorry, Coinbase. Now I can let you know if you are crypto curious and you've identified as crypto curious, if you thought about entering the world of cryptocurrency but you feel overwhelmed, Coinbase makes learning to buy and sell pretty simple. It might feel like a secret or exclusive club, but Coinbase believes that everyone everywhere should be able to get in the door. Whether you've been trading for years or just getting started, Coinbase can help. It offers a trusted and easy-to-use platform to buy, sell, and spend cryptocurrency. Millions of people in over 100 countries trust Coinbase with their digital assets. Whether you're looking to diversify, just getting started, or searching for a better way to access crypto markets, you got to start today with Coinbase. So for a limited time, new users can get $10 in free Bitcoin when you sign up today at Coinbase.com/BigThing. Sign up at Coinbase.com/BigThing for $10 in free Bitcoin. The offer is for a limited time only, so sign up today, and that's Coinbase.com/BigThing. All right, so moving on. I'm trying to think of the other stuff. I mean, like the music is really good in it. I think Derrickson's a great job because he was attached to the second one, and then just I guess he's one of those few directors. It happens in Star Wars all the time, but in Marvel it was just creative differences, right?
Yeah. He wanted a different property from the sounds of it, and then the universe just expanded. Like Phase 4 got so much bigger.
Yeah, I thought that from what he wanted to do, he wanted to go even more heavy into the horror element because Raimi still is taking those horror elements for sure,
but it's tying into the multiverse, so I mean it has to. I think that I don't know, but I think Scott wanted to make a Doctor Strange 2 and Marvel wanted to make a Doctor Strange 2.5. Like it feels like, kind of like Civil War is a Captain America movie, but it's so much.
It's an Avengers movie.
Yeah, so I feel like I think that he wanted to make Winter Soldier and they wanted him to make Civil War, and he was like, we're good.
Right.
Thanks.
I think that's the thing now because they're not making any more Avengers movies.
Not the foreseeable.
They said. I think that there was there was a report recently that said they weren't.
I mean, I've heard conflicting reports.
I can't remember where it was, but there was like an official report that there was a quote from Feige said he's not making Avengers movies.
I would take a wild guess. The same way that Feige loves to like kind of feed us stuff, but
it'll
say
be
it in a
young
way.
Avengers or new Avengers. That's what I'm saying.
So you're not going to get this OG team that we've had again, but you're about to get young Avengers. You've set up too much to not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every kid has been introduced.
But going off your point is that it does turn the multiverse.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2 into a platform to essentially make that where you can have all these different characters and have some fun and there are those moments that you want to have a lot of fun like we did with the Toby and Andrew moments, so you'll have some of those, but going back into this film in general, like there's really, I think that what was what is Chiwetel Ejiofor's character's name?
Baron Mordo.
So Mordo to me was the most. I mean, because the Benjamin Bratt stuff that they do was
fresh off Catwoman set, still playing basketball.
Was he playing basketball in that
too?
I think he just puts in. Yeah. It's brutal. It's brutal.
His 2 comic book appearances of just like playing ball. Poor Benjamin Bratt.
But that's just what a career that guy had, though, man.
Oh yeah,
Julia Roberts alone.
Yeah, no, Brad's doing just fine. He can cameo in Doctor Strange. He's doing just fine.
No, he's fine.
And he's so good at like.
It's a big cameo. It's a big move. It's like because that ultimately turns Mordo into ultravillain.
But also,
taking that away
what
from
leads
him.
Doctor Strange in his path? Like, arguably, Benjamin Bratt's the biggest character in the
Massive.
movie.
And it's funny that, as we were just talking about before, like, the development with him in that moment, the way that they set that up, like, there's only, like, two scenes with him, right?
Yeah.
And they're so monumental because the first
two catalysts.
Yes, the first scene sets Strange into motion, but it's also because you got to have a good actor in there to say, okay, look, man, I don't know you. I remember when I went to see you, and you said I couldn't come here. He's like, and then he tells him about it, and it sets him on his path. And then, because of that scene and how much it meant to him and setting about the enlightenment that he had, and then that's ripped away from him at the end. It's brutal.
And you need to care about him so quickly.
Yes.
And I also love how they set up the scene with him with that orderly that was like just to shut you up. Like I love.
Shut your arrogant ass up.
I love how he got the file. That felt it was clever.
I thought that was dope. I was just gonna ask y'all, and I haven't been able to shake it once you brought up the character. You think that motherfucker be cheating at basketball?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like he's got mystical powers
a little
now.
extra.
You know what I'm saying?
He shoots threes.
He sees that it's slightly off. He just bends.
Yeah, he's not a full mystic arts master, but he's like,
dude. Steph Curry was studying with those.
That's what I'm saying. Steph Curry was Sorcerer Supreme in another
at some point
100%.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm trying
LeBron
to think. Is there anything else sticking out?
The visuals, I just feel like the sequences where we get the full Hot Topic insanity and the inversion plus I love the fact that when they're in London, they let the tiles replicate and it shimmers all around. And you're so disoriented that it feels like the old Steve Ditko drawings that you sometimes had to turn the comic. Like it's so
is that straight out of the comics?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so the guy that invented Doctor Strange also invented Spider-Man. So Stan Lee and Steve Ditko are a duo.
Yeah.
Those are the two characters they invented together.
Yeah.
And I love that one of them was because nobody likes spiders and they wanted to try to make that work. And the other one is like, what if we just make drugs? Like, what if we make drugs the comic? And so for that to translate to the medium of film and to have you feel like, I know I'm more of a hallucinogen guy than the pair of you, but to have it feel like that almost intensely organic, almost paranoia, like sometimes when you do drugs, they're with you, sometimes they're against you. And I really like that you have both of those journeys with these visuals. Like the moment with the hands and the fingers in hands and fingers in hands.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've been there.
It's an acid trip.
And it's beautiful that they were able to make you feel that like rush of it and then have it feel somehow like you've lived it before, even if you don't do drugs.
Right.
And then also the ability to feel like you're seeing things as they are in other realities in a movie with just slight modifications. Like the way we see color is translated through our eyeballs. We're not actually seeing color. We're seeing data that's being filtered through our brain and telling us what those colors are. That's why everyone sees color differently. The movie feels like it captured that for me, but on a grander scale.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they preconceived it. I don't know how they storyboarded it, how they made it, but I think that's the closest to showing someone like that and Everything Everywhere All at Once is showing someone what it's like to do psilocybin or LSD without having doing it. And that's just so impressive.
Yeah, I mean, look, the way that they set it up and the way that they made you look for sure. Because they said it made me very Inception-esque when they did that. But the other one, we're not talking about it as much is Wong.
Yeah, Wong's so great.
He's so good, but he's the same thing that we were talking about because we've been with him a lot of different times too. Yeah. Whether he's showing up in Shang-Chi, like it's Wong, something he did in Avengers.
Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, but you know what's funny about that, and we don't think we ever talked about this, is that doesn't Wong because he says the reason why in No Way Home that he became Sorcerer Supreme is because Strange blipped.
Yeah,
but didn't Wong disappear?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, he was one of the few that actually survived. If I remember correctly, I
haven't watched that.
I think Wong disappeared.
In a while.
I am pretty sure. Are you googling who blipped?
I'm trying to see.
I'm like pretty positive that Wong, because if I remember when they're doing the hologram thing, it's what Rocket, Okoye, Captain Marvel, Wong, I believe, and then Natasha on that call. No?
Oh, I guess he got the source that he did get snapped is the original shooting script from 2017.
So you might have heard that.
So did Wong get snapped? Here's what they. So after a lot of back and forth, I'm still confused as if Wong was snapped on the Avengers. He didn't, as you said, the official marketing material in 2019 confirmed it, as well as Benedict Wong himself. The source that he did get snapped is from a shooting script where he was going to be among the faces shown at the film, but given that he specifically was cut from the film 2 years later, let's see. I think it was clear he wasn't snapped. Okay, so I guess he didn't.
I swore he was on that call. Maybe you know what? I might be directly conflating the Shang-Chi similar phone call via like hologram or whatever.
Oh, and like putting those together in your head.
In my head, I think I'm mashing the two scenes.
It's almost like there's 32 movies.
I know. Wow, is it really 32?
I mean, I consider the shows, like I rank them with the shows, but yeah, it's 32 properties now.
Jeez,
with Moon Knight.
So many, but it's a fact. I mean, it really is a. There, even though you can say whether it's Thor: Dark World or Iron Man 2 or a few of these movies that you don't like,
they're so consistent.
There's never what's a truly like terrible MCU movie?
I don't think there's
like
a
terrible.
truly terrible. I
like
think
a movie that you're
World's
just
the
like
closest.
Thor: The Dark World is the closest for me.
See, it's so funny when I watched that recently. Didn't hate it.
That's what I'm saying. The closest.
That's what I'm saying.
It's still like a B-.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's no like movies that like Batman and Robin.
There are
or
bad.
It's really bad ones. Like a bad movie, like a really I just can't watch.
Again, Thor: The Dark World is the only one, but to be
if
honest,
you like these movies, I clearly know that there's people who hate them and they don't like these movies at all. But the people who like these movies in general.
But what I think what saves Thor: The Dark World is because you lean so heavily into that brother relationship and Loki's whole him being the outcast of the family.
Yeah,
that it saves a lot of the problems with the film.
Right. Where would you rank this one though? This one,
Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Now after watching it,
even after the rewatch, it's still a mid, and that's just because there are so many excellent films that it's not going to outplay for me, Endgame, Infinity War, No Way Home, Black Panther, OG Iron Man. Like there's so many really, really good ones that it's good, but there's a lot outranking.
It's so funny. I need to go back and look at them after rewatching all of them too, because I still, it's there because there's certain the newer movies that have come out. What are the new movies? Shang-Chi, and I know that I'm in the minority here, that I liked Eternals better than Shang-Chi.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought Shang-Chi
because it was something new?
It was more of that kind of sci-fi and I like the gods element. Sure. That's why I like also the stuff they're doing in Moon Knight. And I think that I saw Shang-Chi way too late, after all the hype.
Got it.
So, because I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great.
Well, I thought it was also good and not great. And the other thing that got me was people being like, this is the greatest Marvel movie ever. And I was like, no, it's not. It's good. It's really good, but it is not the greatest ever.
No.
Like, let's not be caught up in the hype right now.
That happens a lot, and I think that I wonder if that's going to happen with Doctor Strange too. But with Doctor Strange 1, and I wonder because Derrickson set up this so well, because his style is all over this movie.
Yeah, it really is.
So... And his style was even adapted into No Way Home. Yep. And it was adapted into these other things.
I was saying with James Gunn, where you incorporate. So it's my 22 of 32.
Okay, so let's see where.
God damn, that's lower than a mid. I mean, it's still technically mid,
but it's just there's so many.
But you said it jumped. You said it jumped up 4 though.
It was lower. Yeah.
Can I see?
Yeah. I'll
I would need to look. I would need to go and check it out before you. But before we take off, I also want to tell you guys.
Whoa. No Way Home is your number one MCU period.
Wow. I loved the 20 years that it brought to me. Wow. You know what I mean? And Winter Soldier.
Well, he's a Spider-Man guy. Remember? So Athletic Greens, guys. Athletic Greens. I'll let you guys know about it. And I've told you about it many times over, and you should really check it out. I've been using it all the time. It is a great boost of energy. I didn't have the time for vitamins, and I wanted better gut health. I wanted more energy. I wanted an optimized immune system, and now I got it. Because it is the best. It is super healthy. It tastes wonderful. And if you didn't know what it is, one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens and you get 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and it starts off your day and you're in good shape. Now, for me, why I consume it is I just, like I said, I was just taking so many different vitamins and be able to do it with one shot. It's incredible. I've told my friends and my family about it. I take it on packets when I go on vacation. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, doesn't matter. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no nasty chemicals. You get better sleep quality and recovery. It costs you less than $3 a day, and you're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. You're investing in an all-in-one nutritional insurance. Now, Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. It's recommended by professional athletes and Coy Jandreau. Right now, it's time to claim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day, and that's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. So to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you, listen to this, a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/bigthing, athleticgreens.com/bigthing. Take ownership over your health and pick up the daily nutritional insurance. It's awesome. Really enjoying my Athletic Greens. Go ahead, Coy.
So, No Way Home, because of its culmination of so much, and because it did the impossible, in that I think the characters you love the most are harder to buy on screen. I learned to read as Spidey, so I judged his movies the harshest. Right. So the fact that I love his movie the most, that and
it made you love Tobey Maguire somehow.
Somehow
Amazing.
made me at least like, come on.
That actually is probably, now it all makes sense.
You know what I mean?
You had so much to say during the rewatch. So for you to come fully 180 and be like, you know what, this fixed everything.
It did a lot, man.
Wow.
Well, those rewatches, because what that did, and I'm curious what it does for what Doctor Strange 2 is going to do, because what No Way Home did was it turned 5 movies that you thought were just separate movies into MCU canon.
And that's incredible.
Which is interesting.
And doing it in a way that feels smart and on purpose and clever. And also doing it in a way that has fan service moments that don't feel like pandering.
No.
Like, that's why that movie is so special, because it's able to give you everything without it being like, when you eat a candy bar and you get to the end, you're like, too sweet. It never got too sweet. It just stayed great, and it was nutritious, and it moved the plot along. And to be honest, I've never seen a movie do a 6-movie origin story, and the movie ends with Peter Parker as Spider-Man for the first time, really, while giving you an Uncle Ben-esque Tobey and an actual Peter Parker and Andrew Garfield.
Well, Coy, do you think part 2 of this movie, Multiverse, is going to enhance, because you already said this, after rewatching this movie, it jumped up. Because of everything that's happened in these other movies, do you think that, A, Multiverse could jump even way higher in your ranking, and then B, could it enhance 1 even more so?
What's going to be interesting is the magic trick of bringing in a universe has been done now with No Way Home. Right. They brought in the Spider-Man universe. So we've heard Xavier's voice in the trailer, but I don't know if the magic trick can feel that special again, because we've had it. Like, we've seen the universe fold in, and we've got that growing. But I don't know if that's going to enhance Doctor Strange 1. I also don't know if I'm capable of... The issue is... If love's true. Yeah, no, that's a problem. But with 22 movies, I get Doctor Strange at 22, that's only because the 21 above it, I genuinely have, like, at least a B+ and up for.
Just show me.
Strange is right here after.
So, wait a minute.
What do you got?
Black Widow is higher for you.
Oh, really?
I really liked David Harbour. I really liked the choreography.
David Harbour and Florence Pugh are increntible.
Yeah.
But I don't know, after rewatching Strange, I don't know if I can agree with that.
Yeah, see, I need to
rewatch Black Widow. And I need to I've only seen Black Widow twice.
I think that the way that I rank, and everyone's rankings are different, obviously, but I look at the way that you look at how it enhances the overall, library.
Yeah.
And to me, Doctor Strange enhances the first one, enhances the library significantly more than Black Widow. Like, you could take Black Widow out of the MCU, and it wouldn't hurt it.
Yeah.
You take out Doctor Strange, and it destroys it.
I agree.
That's true.
The other thing that's so interesting about that is again, Widow should have gotten her movie a long time ago. The only thing that movie actually served a purpose for was to introduce Yelena.
A new Black Widow.
Just introduce Yelena.
Right, because
nothing of the rest of that movie matters.
That's a good point, because it made her appearance in Hawkeye significantly mean more to me when I saw it, because I knew about her.
And we're getting a whole new wave of Dark Avengers effectively.
Right,
with her.
right. And she's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but this, I'm trying to think because what I really liked about having, because remember there was the big controversy obviously about putting Tilda Swinton in it, and that's has seemingly dying down since. But when she shows up in Infinity War, it's great. It's or it's Endgame. It's Endgame. It's Endgame. When she shows up in it, because it's when Smart Hulk is.
She did the
I caught myself. I caught myself this time. I didn't go on.
I watched all the movies this week.
But that's a different one, because that's part of at least the kind of same continuity.
Kristian, you're worse than me. When I used to compete, and every time I was like, I don't know, some white lady did it.
That's right.
What's going to be crazy is when there's the multiversal scene with Laura Dern as the Ancient One.
100%.
It's going to be so messed up.
No.
Julianne Moore on the Illuminati, bro.
what will happen is I'll say, hey, you guys remember that whole scene when like he fought the ghost in a hospital scene, like, and then Sam Raimi directed, like, dude, that was the first movie.
I watched that weeks ago. What are you talking about?
Years ago. Anyway, so look, we had this is Doctor Strange. We went through a lot of different things in this, but
we didn't give long enough love, but know that it's implied because he stole the movie.
He is great, and I think that he was also every time he shows up, and the Beyonce stuff was great when he's listening to Beyonce, but like his comedic timing is really good, and then because it sets it up every time that he then shows up, and so what we're gonna do is, and I thought that this is something we could just kind of talk about. We're gonna do the What If Strange episodes. And maybe we can do a full episode of What If Strange episodes, the Avengers scenes, right? And then
and No Way Home.
Well, No Way Home I think should be a separate one.
So a Doctor Strange miscellaneous, everything else.
The only reason I was suggesting maybe we do No Way Home with that is because since we just did a full No Way Home watch, like 2 months ago.
A rewatch of it. I mean, we could just do the Doctor Strange, but I just don't know what we necessarily going to call it. Doctor Strange breakdown. I don't know. Whatever it is, we could rewatch all of those scenes because it's a good point. Even in No Way Home, he's only in a significant chunk, so we could watch his scenes in No Way Home.
Yeah, that's true. We could just focus on.
All right, so we'll do all the. He's not in Civil War.
No, he's not around yet.
He's not around yet.
He's name dropped.
He's name dropped and is it in Winter Soldier that he's name dropped?
Yeah, he's like you got this, Stephen Strange.
Right, Stephen Strange, right.
Which is interesting because how did they know he wasn't a thing yet?
Maybe he was just really smart.
I mean,
this guy too smart. We don't want him in. We don't want a Hydra. He's too smart.
There could be reports. Look, man, the Loki people putting stuff in there too. You know, like a lot of there could be reports that you knew, and with all the Celestials and stuff, that people knew what people were going to do
in another universe.
They knew. I mean,
do we need to watch some of WandaVision because she clearly has a massive influence on this movie?
Nah, I mean that's
as recent as No Way Home.
Yeah, I mean, no, but he's saying, but we didn't cover that. We didn't cover that.
So. I'm saying we just covered No Way Home as my thing.
You know, look, this is what I'll say about that. I don't think it should be required viewing, but like if any one of us wants to watch him to be able to bring it up, sure.
I got it.
It's a really good show.
I've only watched the show one time through. I've watched some of the episodes twice, but I haven't watched the whole thing, so I'll do it.
I wish I could get my wife to watch that one.
Wish I had the time to watch. As much as I want to watch. Like you're describing this, I wish I had 20 hours to watch like every one of these.
That's why I'm going to, that's because Moon Knight is wrapping up soon. There's only 2 episodes left. So that'll be.
It's only 6?
Only 6.
Wow.
And then you get Obi-Wan, it's also 6. So
May 27th is insane.
Nuts.
Obi-Wan, Stranger Things.
General, bro.
Yeah. I know.
April's been crazy. We've had the best run of April I think I've ever seen.
Really?
Like, Sonic 2 is, I think, the best video game movie ever. The Northman is incredible. Everything Everywhere.
Oh, you're talking about as far as quality.
Yeah.
It's not a lot to cover on YouTube.
No, not like stuff. But like as far as movies, we've had like April's never this good because everything got pushed.
Yeah, I mean, they usually remember Avengers used to come out in April.
Oh, it should be like the second last.
They started when
I thought it was May. It was April.
May 3rd was a while. Then I think they moved.
Then they started moving, and then Fast and Furious took over April because before the world went to hell, the summer season was getting to a place where there was just too much.
Yeah,
so
every week.
April was the real big one kicked off, and then not even soft though. Like I said, it was Avengers and all these big movies started to come out in April. Fast and Furious started doing it to take over April. Now we're getting back to a place where it's like there's. Like I was looking at the movies that are coming out, and they're limited. So
we got to do Top Gun before Top Gun 2, right?
We'll rewatch Top Gun for sure. Yeah, and we're gonna do a rewatch, I guess, on Patreon too. I meant to tell you guys. So we have the patrons voted on. There's 4 choices. I'll let you guys know if you guys can do it. We'll talk about it.
Did the vote ended?
I forget the 4. I can tell you the 4 that on Patreon that. Give me a second.
The options.
I can give you the options of what they are. I can't. Let me see.
Because we're doing the 1-2 punch of Grab Bag, Doctor Strange, and Jurassic Park 3 next week. Then
Jurassic Park 3 will be when this airs. Will be this week. Jurassic Park will be this Friday. So we did Doctor Strange. This is Tuesday, and then Friday is
JP3.
Yep,
got it.
So all right, I'm gonna try to find this because I want and for people who are not.
I gotta watch Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. I started watching it, and it's like it's
Laura Dern's all up in it,
bro. Fuck you. the one, but see my issue because I again just saw it recently for the first time, bro. How you go ninja a super T-Rex? Like how they not know that homie is like right behind you?
Here are the 4: Predator, The Big Lebowski, Truman Show, and The Terminator.
Any of those I'm in for. I love all those movies.
I've never seen The Big Lebowski.
Oh, wow. All right, so we'll see.
That might be the answer.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens when they.
I went to the Dude
vote.
bar on Sunset last night.
They're going to tell me what the vote is.
There's a Big Lebowski bar in
Okay,
LA.
look. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today. This is Doctor Strange. We did our rewatch of Doctor Strange. Make sure, by the way, if you didn't know, tomorrow Sith Council will be on, and Sith Council no longer has its own podcast feed. It is on this podcast feed. So Big Thing, you find Big Thing 3. It basically, Sith Council is now an extension of Big Thing. It's just our Star Wars show. So there's now 4 episodes a week of Big Thing. And this week you get 5. You had Monday's episode, Tuesday's episode, and tomorrow will be Sith Council. So that'll be the Wednesday. And then Thursday will be a separate episode. And Friday will be Jurassic Park 3 Rewatch. So you got a lot of material on the channel, obviously. And then if you are listening for podcast listeners, and people have really been enjoying the rewatches on podcasts, so please subscribe. It's great for in the gym, on the ride, and it also helps us out tremendously. So thank you to Winston Marshall. Thank you to Coy. And we will see you guys very, very soon on the next one. We'll see you on Friday for Jurassic Park 3. All right, everybody. And
do me a favor, please.
What's that?
Get out of here.
Get out of here, man. Shit.